Some claim that rage is a cloud that obscures thought and vision, but I can assure you, I've never seen with greater clarity. Flavor text of Blood Mist. Motivation is often necessary to start oneself on the path to complete a goal. Rarely do you hear the tale of a great adventurer who set out on his quest just to satiate boredom. There is often a driving force, a need, an objective to be accomplished. For some, it can be to acquire some legendary treasure or seek to earn the love of another. They can set out to defend their home or quest for new discoveries. But for a few, revenge can be the greatest motivator of all. Long ago, long before most would remember, the world of Alara was ripped apart by a godlike entity, a planeswalker, and the plane was sundered into 5 separate shards. These shards were known as Bant, Esper, Grixis, Jund, and Naya. Each of these shards was only a fraction of the original world, not just in size, but in terms of mana composition. Each shard only had access to 3 of the 5 types of mana. As a result, each of these shards was vastly different from one another. Grixis, for example, was a world devoid of white or green mana, and so was a shard devoid of life and growth. Here, only death and decay spread. Each of these shards was unique in mana, as well as in the cultures that grew on them over time. Despite initially being thrust apart, these shards were still pieces of one world, and that world wished to be whole again. The 5 fragments of Alara drifted closer to one another in an event known as the Conflux. The barriers between the separated worlds faded away, and a chaotic, new Alara was born. And it's on this new Alara that the story of Kaalia begins. The young girl Leah was the daughter of a farmer in what was, once upon a time, the nation of Bant. She was raised on tales of knightly valor, of heroes who would fight off hordes of monsters, and she would daydream of legendary battles, reenacting fights in the sand. Young Leah was a lonely child. Her fingers were curled, crippled in a way that prevented her straightening them, and for that she was often bullied by the other children. What's more, the girl kept a secret from everyone but her family. She possessed a magical power, one that allowed her to destroy small stones. Leah would often play by herself, away from others, breaking apart pebbles she would find by the river. And it's one day, while she's alone, that she sees something she never had before. In the trees, not far from herself, Leah spotted a strange creature. It possessed the shape of a person, but its head was that of a cat, and its body was covered in fur. Frightened, Leah turned to call for her mother, and when she tried to spot the creature again, it was gone. Later that night, young Leah learned that 2 of the village's hunters had gone missing. The people were on edge. Leah shared with her mother what she saw by the river before bed, describing the creature with a human body but a cat's head. The next day, the girl would play alone and would run circles around her house until she bumped into someone. A bag was placed over her head, and Leah would find herself kidnapped by the cat creatures she saw the day before. That night, a darkness crept into Leah's village. The same darkness that took the missing hunters would steal away the girl's mother, father, and the neighbors. The servants of a demon, Neferox, would take sacrifices from near and far and bring them into the mountains, to a jagged arena of bone and stone. Here, a ritual would commence. When the bag on Leah's head was removed, she found herself face to face with several of the catfolk she saw before. They explained that they were a race called the Nakatl, and that they were on a mission to stop the ritual being performed by the servants of Neferox. Young Leah wanted to go home, but the Nakatl insisted that they needed her help. One of them, named Nira, explained to her that she was what they called a stone killer, and that her power was needed in order to stop the ritual being performed. The magic made use of a prepared dragon skeleton, which served as the centerpiece of the ritual needed to awaken the demon Neferox. Nira explained that if the keystone, a piece of the dragon's spine, was destroyed, the ritual would be undone and her family would be safe. Though hesitant, the young girl agreed to help the Nakatl. Nira explained that in her culture, warriors were given a new name before their first battle. To Leah, she offered the name Ka, which meant power. Kaalia accepted her new name and went with her new friends to stop the ritual and bring her family home. Under cover of night, the group approached the location where the demon servants took their sacrifices. As they drew closer, they found that the ritual had already begun. Kaalia rushed to destroy the keystone, while the Nakatl battled against the cultists. But Kaalia was a child, and in her fear, she hesitated. That moment of hesitation would cost her dearly. Kaalia did destroy the keystone, which caused the collapse of the dragon skeleton, but it was too late. The ritual had completed, and a jagged rift opened in the floor of the arena. From within emerged a nightmarish demon, Neferox. With every swing of his spear, the lives of those brought to this arena were lost. Debris was sent flying in all directions, and Kaalia was knocked unconscious. When Kaalia awoke, she found herself in the ruins of the arena, with nothing but destruction, bones and bodies as far as she could see. Her family, her neighbors, and her friends the Nakatl were all dead, and she knew that Neferox was the cause, and she swore that she would have her revenge. Kaalia of the Vast was first printed in 2011's Commander Precon decks, and has for years proven to be an extremely popular commander. With her low power toughness and no built-in protection, Kaalia's popularity comes from her ability that triggers whenever she attacks. This effect allows you to put any angel, demon, or dragon creature from your hand into play attacking alongside her. This card is receiving a new printing, with some new artwork, in the upcoming Double Masters set, which is what sparked this lore video. Interestingly, despite being a character from Alara, her color identity doesn't line up with any of the shard colors. Instead, her card matches the Mardu Wedge, which are the colors that best represent the 3 creature types that she can call to her aid. The character received a second card in Core Set 2020. Kaalia Zenith Seeker is a somewhat weaker version that lets you grab an angel, a demon, and or a dragon from the top 6 cards of your library whenever she enters play. While this isn't as impressive as her earlier rendition, this version of the character allows you to set up for her Commander Precon counterpart, which I find to be a nice touch. Alara is a world we have a decent chance of returning to someday, and with it, we have a chance of continuing the stories of several characters. Here's hoping that, when we do go back there, we get to see a bit more of Kaalia. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or consider sharing it with your friends. If you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, you'll be alerted whenever I upload a new video. While you're here, why not check out one of my other lore videos? I'd appreciate it a whole lot if you did. Thanks again, and have a good day.